May this live, grow, and flourish. What I am cold and forgotten are not the strongly organized and splendidly efficient women's missionary personage and aid societies in modern Methodism, an answer to this apostolic prayer. As the General Conference approached, Asbury had his usual introspections and rigidly reviewed his own motives. In his journal he wrote, "I lived long before I took upon me the superintendency of the Methodist Church in America, and now I bear it as a heavy load. I hardly bear it, and yet dare not cast it down, for fear God and my brethren should cast me down for such abandonment of duty." The General Conference met on May 7th, 1804, and, as always before in Baltimore, only 107 voting members were present. There was no absorbing issue before the church. Bishop Coke, as senior bishop, presided, and from the chair read the discipline section by section, and the conference reviewed each point and considered if revisal or improvement should be attempted. The Book of Concern, which since the death of John Dickens has been under the care of Ezekiel Cooper, was ordered to be removed from Philadelphia to New York. The 23rd article of the Confession was changed so as to recognize the nationality of the United States. A time limit of 2 years was imposed upon the pastorate. This was done on a motion that had been presided by no particular agitation or demand, and which apparently provoked but little discussion on the conference floor. So inconsequential was the origin of a rule which, with slight modification, held through nearly 100 years in the largest body of Methodism in America, and still holds in that body, which is second in importance on the continent. Asbury made several motions, it being then admissible for a bishop to take the floor, the most important of which was that an assistant book steward and an elder be elected, which vote was put and carried. The question of slavery was, as usual, taken up, and a motion prevailed that the bishops be authorized to write a chapter which should carry a section acceptable to the north and another acceptable to the south. Asbury declined to undertake such a task. The result was that the former rule was much modified, and the conferences in the South were exempted from its operations. After agreeing to a continuance of the arrangement for Dr. Coke to retain his residence in Europe, laying again the ghost of the anti-presiding eldership, agitation and disposing of sundry impracticable motions and schemes, the General Conference adjourned. Coke, Asbury, and Watcote were never to meet again in General Conference. This was Coke's last visit to the church in America. Bishop Watcote died in 1806, and so from that date Bishop Asbury was again alone in the episcopacy until the election in 1808 of his masterful and apostolic associate, William McKendry. And a spiritual rule, or the way of a spiritual organization, either has to keep up with the times, or it has to be in a way that can be just followed in the different material cultures and political situations.